January 17th, Antony the Great. The way you live out your faith may be another man's lifeline. There was an honorable military officer named Martinian who was raising a family, and he believed in God. But one day he found his sweet daughter afflicted with an evil spirit. Horrified, Martinian would have done anything to see his daughter in her right mind again. Antony was the man for the job. Martinian hiked into the desert where Antony lived alone on a mountain near the east bank of the Nile River. Martinian walked and kept walking and eventually came upon the abandoned Roman fort where Antony had lived for nearly 20 years. Martinian knocked on the door and waited. He listened for any sign of movement from inside, but he heard nothing. Again, he knocked, longer, and he yelled for the hermit. Still, there was no answer. Desperate, Martinian resolved to knock until the hermit answered, and he kept knocking and pleading for Antony to come out and pray to God for his little girl. Finally, though he would not open the door, Antony's voice rose above the noise of the officer's pounding. Martinian stopped and listened. "Man, why do you call on me?" Antony said. "I also am a man, even as you. But if you believe on Christ whom I serve, go, and according as you believe, pray to God, and it shall come to pass." Martinian did not protest, as other pilgrims had, but he left immediately. Believing Antony's instruction, he called out to God and asked him to heal his daughter. When Martinian got home, he saw his daughter free from the evil spirit, and he was so happy. Antony had never seen this girl, but found confirming joy in his heart. It's like the story in Matthew chapter 8, verses 5 through 11 and 13. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. "Lord," he said, "my servant lies at home paralyzed, suffering terribly." And Jesus said to him, "Shall I come and heal him?" The centurion replied, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one go and he goes, and that one come and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed, and said to those following him, "Truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith." Then Jesus said to the centurion, "Go, let it be done just as you believed it would," and his servant was healed at that moment. How can you use your own gifts and faith to strengthen someone else today? The way you live out your faith may be another man's lifeline.
Hello, gentlemen. My name is Les Lira. I'm honored to work with Lighthouse Arab World as the U.S. Director of Development. I really appreciate today's story about Antony the Great, a famous Egyptian monk. While he was seen as the most famous monk of his time, his challenges and triumphs were very similar to so many men through the ages, including us today. As the story was told, at the age of 20, the devil afflicted him with boredom, laziness, and the phantoms of women. These remind me of the afflictions of today that might look like depression, lack of purpose, and attraction to pornography. Take heart, men. Antony overcame these afflictions by waging a war of prayer, he said. Men, what afflictions are weighing you down today? Are they depression, lack of direction, or pornography? Are you willing to wage a war of prayer? Is there someone who you can ask to join you in your war of prayer? My challenge to us all is to go straight to the Lord who knows all of our afflictions and ask him for help in dealing with them. Remember, he was a man. He understands us and how we are. So be yourself and cry out to him for help. As the story continues, Antony was delivered from the afflictions and he became known throughout the land as a mighty man of prayer. Gifted with discernment and steadfast faith, many came to him for prayer for their ailments and received healing. One such man traveled very far to see Antony to ask for healing for his daughter. Antony told him, "I also am a man, even as you, but if you believe on Christ whom I serve, Go, and according as you believe, pray to God, and it shall come to pass. The man did as Anton instructed, and his daughter was healed. My question is, what afflictions has the Lord healed you of or delivered you from? What strengths has He shown and grown in you as a result of going through these difficulties? Are you willing to use these strengths to be a blessing to others who are going through similar difficulties? Rest assured, men, like Antony the Great, your difficulties and strengths will be used by the Lord when others come to you for comfort. Be blessed, men.